Welcome back to Busy Watching Women's Soccer. We have two fantastic NWSL semifinals to talk about. First team I want to focus on is the Washington Spirit. They played an incredibly high-tempo game. How did they do that? Well, first, check out the wingers here on the transition. So fast, but you contrast that with Bernal, who's moving a lot slower. And this was a really important part of that for them because they need to manage the energy levels. Other thing I really liked, they got a lot of players on the ball very quickly. I've heard a lot of good coaching things over my time playing football, but my absolute favorite, the fastest player on the pitch is the ball. Nobody is outrunning the ball, and the Washington Spirit understand that. So by getting as many players on this ball during the sequence as possible, by moving the ball so quickly across players, across the pitch, it becomes incredibly difficult to defend. It just breaks down defenses. In this 25-second sequence, get 8 players on the ball, Spirit showing us exactly what they want to do. High-tempo games often mean transitional games, but what the Spirit did really well was evaluate their transitional opportunities. Look at Santos here. Look left, look right, look left again. She's evaluating the context and making sure it's an appropriate time if the Spirit want to go fast. An area of the game where we see transitional opportunities created a lot is set pieces. But before we take a look at this goal sequence, I actually want to look at something we saw the Seattle Reign do in their playoff match against Orlando. So short corners have kind of taken over the NWSL season this year, but it's actually kind of been the case in women's football, men's football, just globally from what I've been following this year. And I think there's 2 reasons for that. One is to create a higher quality opportunity, but 2, how do you create a higher quality opportunity? Well, it's through information. And what Seattle do here, I'm telling you, this is not a ChatGPT suggestion. This is from the mind of somebody that understands this game incredibly well, and I just love this. Okay, so first, motion on the head here. We're going to see, just watch this group of players and just watch how they react to that first motion. All right, so they're coming in. And for my American football fans, this is essentially pre-snap motion. You are pulling information about what the team is going to do before you send the ball in. Next call, we get one player to come short. Okay, we're getting information about who from the pride is going to follow, where they're going to follow. Now we make the play call. And then you're going to see all those Reign players go back. So this is just so much context. I think that last one is just saying it's coming in. So much context, so much information. And yes, this is unsuccessful for Seattle Reign, but just want you to get a general idea of what that kind of like pre-kick motion is and what it's doing. Coming back to the Spirit and Thorns game, we can see Portland using the short setup here, which has pulled at least one player out wide, Kouassi. She's also going to be responsible for covering Moultrie. So we could consider these 2 players here in some sort of like man marking situation. For Kouassi, out here, we're probably going to be doing some kind of zonal defense. And I think Gift, Monday, and Corey Bethune probably told to be ready for a transitional chance. So I think what happens here, I mean, it's incredibly high skill play, it's incredibly high pace, but Spirit are able to just take advantage of a little bit of confusion on the personnel marking. So we see this go in, incredibly strong clearance from Hal Hirschfeld, and Jessie Fleming just gets beat off the mark there. So then Caitlin Torpy, who probably is a zonal defender, feels like she has to step up, just blows the whole thing up. And Kouassi, this is just flawless. Wait as long as possible on that pass, drag the defender out. Like, this is just insanely good from everybody involved. And I mean, just the hustle, that touch there, it's just pure desire to get this done. It was incredible to watch in the moment. And, it's just unfortunate because Portland Thorns are just trying to do something that's, worked out for a lot of teams. And it sort of comes back to bite them just because of the speed and pace and quality that Washington Spirit have. Portland are a team I think very highly of generally, but this was just not the best match for them. And I think the number one issue was that they were trying to match the pace and the tempo that Spirit played. I actually think this was one of their better sequences because Spanstra does kind of match that pace initially, but then she slows down, try and recycle, create a better opportunity. Where things go wrong, missed connection, poor pass, and for me, that's really all it was, is like Thorns had enough to go fast through 3 or 4 players, and it would break down on the 5th one. And I think overall, just maybe that depth of the roster, sort of panicking and just trying to play a little bit too fast, trying to play somebody else's game, ultimately what did it for them. Because again, Spirit really looking for transitional opportunities, and if the Thorns are going to play fast and they're going to give the ball away a lot, then guess what? Spirit are going to have a lot of transitional opportunities, and here you're going to see the same issue through Thorns again. They pick up the ball, and then that quality, just like that last final piece, it's not there, and they're trying to go fast, kills their chance. Now, this one in particular did really bother me, and that's because a lot of these, really fancy set piece coaches, they're talking about speed as one of the number one factors. They want to go fast on set pieces. So I love that. I generally love that 99% of the time. But look at the count here. There's nothing. There's nothing to suggest that Portland should be going fast here. I get that we have some players with their back turned, but look at how many players are ahead of the ball. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Spirit players, and I've got one, I'm going to be really generous, 2 Thorns players. There's absolutely nothing to suggest that this ball should be taken fast, and surprise, surprise, when it is just completely wasted set piece. I think the second goal really ends up just being a continuation of the themes we've seen from both teams throughout the match. Portland trying to go fast and lacking a little bit of that quality, right, in their individual plays and decisions. And then Spirit aggressively looking for transitional chances and just having an incredibly pacey, incredibly talented team. Honestly, this goal made me feel a lot better because it reminded me so much of this goal against the Wave at honestly a very similar time of the game. Just ending of and final minutes of the game, just like punished one tiny mistake from one player. And like, this is not an accident that Croy Bethune has 2 goals like this, right? Like, players make these things happen. And holy crap, Croy Bethune is quite a player. Do you know who else is quite the player? Well, that would be Trinity Rodman. I think the Spirit did a really good job to get her some minutes in this match. I think there are definitely some lessons learned from last year's final. And so she's, honestly looked really ready to me to play during the next match. We didn't get a ton of Trinity time, but the Trinity time that we did get looked pretty epic. She looked like she just fell into the rhythm and the game plan like immediately. It looked very low effort for her, and she looked very, very motivated to get on that score sheet. So she's a fantastic player. She's going to be a lot to handle in the final. I'm really looking forward to it. All right, switching gears to go focus on the Gotham-Orlando game, and I found this one really difficult to evaluate because the teams were neck and neck. They were super evenly matched. They both played incredibly high-quality football. This would have made a great final, but one difference maker for me was Miss Jaden Shaw. We call her a forward, we can call her an attacking midfielder, but she did a pretty good dang impression of a defensive midfielder this game. Sure, that ball's a little bit off, but we're going to see much more of this. Another thing we saw a lot from Jaden Shaw is she was involved in all the set pieces, and I'm telling you, if you're the Orlando Pride, this is not a combination of players you want to see standing over the ball, having a delightful little conversation about where to place it. Between Lavelle and Shaw, you just have 2 incredibly talented, slippery, skilled players, and the fact that we kept seeing them, evaluate what they're seeing, talk, problem solve, this was really good, and I think you could kind of see this building over the match. So this one, Shaw's just a decoy, but I love the speed of it. They're pulling information 12 minutes in around how those free kicks are going to be defended. Really good stuff for Gotham just to get started from. Here's another sequence where we're going to see Shaw just doing it all, basically. So she's kind of low in the structure there, but still really in a good attacking position. And just look at how much she's just kind of floating as she moves there on the pressure. That's great. But watch how low she's going to come on this reset. Like, she's in line with Lily Reel. She's almost in line with Emily Sonnet. Like, she is a defensive mid right now. And what does she do by being there? Completely frees up Rose Lavelle. Like, that space was entirely open because it was vacated by Jaden Shaw and because she'd pulled a marker with her. Really, really great stuff just from one player. Here's another sequence where she's going to look more like a defensive mid. We see Howell coming really low, and now you see Shaw coming, and look where she's looking. Look what she's looking at. She is very, very purposeful about what she's doing. She is 100% focused on her mark and where she's dragged her to. And again, it opens up space for another player. It's just so fascinating to me to see this player that we've all debated around, like, is she a forward? Is she a midfielder? I don't think it really matters. I think she's just a baller. Early on, we got some clues about things Jaden Shaw is going to be doing throughout the match. But the other thing I thought was really impactful is once we got deep into this match, like she looked more energetic, like she looked more fresh, and she really started to cause problems for Orlando in terms of contact. Like Emily Sams looks like an old lady getting up here, and Shaw's just fixing her hair. Like she just looked so effortless. Check out the pace on this defense. Like, okay, she sees the ball, she anticipates it. I love that she knows that her and Real cannot do the same thing. And so she creates a little bit of separation. She's still here, she's still ready. Now she knows that Real's in her spots. She can go out and pursue. She also knows that she's responsible for covering both of these players and kind of steps up her pace a little bit when Lahaina cuts inside. It was a complete game from Jaden Shaw, and she only looked better as time went on. Here's another example of her just causing chaos late in the game. She's so strong on the ball, so difficult to separate from a ball. And I think once you see everybody having to foul her in order to stop her, it just starts this mentality of like, oh, I have to be so concerned about her. You can see it here, like, she's getting into a great space. Everybody's panicky. I don't even mind the back heel there, like, at least try something creative, especially if you're gonna follow up like this. Look at the other here, the stamp. I just felt at this point like Jaden Shaw would have done anything to win the game, absolutely anything. The intensity, the hustle, like, this is 79 minutes in, and she's just making outstanding individual plays. And again, pulls the card so easily. It's just like you could feel it building at this point. Look at her go. This is just like, I just love this. I just love this. It's just so great. Her eyes are up the whole time. Like she wants it so bad. I think it's so important that Shaw was creating, so many problematic moments deep and late in the game because it just contributes overall to winning these set pieces. And we still see Shaw, Lavelle together every single time, evaluating those set pieces. But really, it's the physicality of the play, changes the mindset for Orlando, definitely late in the game. And they feel like they have to be first of the ball. They have to be more aggressive. Like they just cannot afford to have Jaden Shaw create some crazy opportunity late in the game. And it creates these fouls. It creates these good free kicks. And what are we going to see? Again, that we've seen all game, evaluating context. We're looking, we're evaluating. Also, something very, very important happens here. Check out Emily Sonnet. I still really, I've watched this probably like 50 times. I still can't figure out if this was originally planned to be a direct in here. But Sonnet is definitely doing something to protect that lane. You can see Morehouse send someone and say, why is nobody marking her? And she's like, okay, well then I'll just leave. I think that is really important to whatever happens, especially because we end up seeing a little like triangle of Gotham players surrounding the ball, and the three of them basically box out Orlando completely. I don't know. This one goes completely over my head, but just look at it. It's just beautiful. Those bounces on the ground in front of a keeper can be brutal. I'm sure this isn't exactly how it was supposed to go, but who cares? Who cares? It's just gorgeous. And it was always going to be Jaden Shaw. There was never going to be anybody else. I just love it. Everything about this goal just gave me chills, goosebumps. I cannot wait to watch the final. These are two incredible teams with astounding players, and you just know you are going to be watching one of the best matches of the year.